This is Bao TV.
Welcome back to Bound News Network. We are actually tracking Tropical Storm Ida as it makes its way towards the western section of Cuba, impacting the regions of La Coloma as well as Pinar del Rio in the region of West Cuba, and then it's going to track into the Gulf of Mexico and actually head as possibly a major hurricane, Category 3 or even greater, as it heads towards the region of New Orleans. We wanted to make sure that we brought some gave you some more information as far as what's possibly going to be happening with this storm as it makes its way towards the region. As we take a closer look, we can actually see that we were actually working with a very, very significant storm. And it's important to note that at this particular time, it's at 20.7 north, 82.1 west, and moving at about 15 miles northwest per an hour, and 65 maximum sustained winds at 65 miles per an hour. Basically, what we're seeing right now is that this is actually the very, very most likely it's going to be the next update from the National Hurricane Center, that it will be updated as a possible Category 1 hurricane. And once that's said, then we anticipate that areas such as Isla de la Juventud will going to be receiving significant hurricane winds. If we take a look at Cuba, we can actually see this region where we can actually see what is actually happening as far as where it's actually located at this particular time. We're also going to be taking a closer look at some of the significant weather activity in the region. Here we have our Doppler radar, and that is actually showing the system as it moves into the western section of Cuba as it makes its way to into the Gulf of Mexico. Keep in mind that the sea surface temperatures of the Gulf of Mexico at this time are around 85 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's going to be quite a bit of energy that this system is going to be pulling together, and that's why we anticipate that this system is going to be impacting the region as a major hurricane. Keep in mind that the Category 5 hurricanes that have actually hit in the region of the Gulf, they only a few days prior were just low-level tropical storms, and they intensified very, very quickly. So we're actually tracking this as it makes its way across the western section of Cuba. We're actually looking at it from our Doppler radar station out of virtual Key West, and as it makes its way across the western tip of Cuba into the Gulf of Mexico, we'll be tracking it quite a bit more. One of the things we wanted to also note is the importance of hurricane preparation. Here we are a few days away from when it will actually hit landfall, and based on the Hurricane Center, they're actually saying that this system will most likely make landfall somewhere between Morgan City, Louisiana, and Ocean Springs, Louisiana. As far as evacuation is concerned, please take advantage of this particular time. Here we are on Friday. We anticipate that this is going to be a significant weather event moving on shore in the region of impacting the region of Baton Rouge as well as New Orleans. And with that said, we do understand the significance of low-lying flood-prone areas of the region in Louisiana. So based on the current track, we anticipate that this system will actually impact the region as a major hurricane on Sunday night through Sunday morning, and then it will make a veer towards the west into central Mississippi and central Tennessee as possibly downgraded as a depression. So if you are making an effort to actually get out of the way of this system, then most likely you will want to head west towards possibly central Texas or even central Oklahoma, just to protect yourself, protect your life, the life of your family, just by getting out of the way and evacuating, if you can, out of the way of this system. This system is going to be moving, it's going to be on top of the region very, very quickly. So you have to actually take advantage of the time that you have now. Keep in mind that a Category 3 hurricane is 111 to 129 miles per hour, and you can anticipate destruction of small buildings, mobile homes, sheds, even small residential buildings, with a storm surge of 9 feet to 12 feet above normal. Basically, how to prepare is to plan your evacuation route well ahead of time, and then keep non-perishable emergency supplies handy, and also review your insurance policies of your property, so that you know exactly what's actually happening with respect to damage, and actually appealing for assistance once the storm has passed, and then you return to inspect your property. Keep in mind also that if you are going to be bunkering down and you anticipate that you don't have the facilities or the means by which to evacuate, keep in mind that you can also reach out to government resources as far as emergency shelters that have been certified by engineers to be able to sustain the hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane, Category 3, 4, 5 hurricane that comes on shore in the region of Louisiana. So those are your options, and also make sure that you definitely don't want to be in harm's way with this system coming in, especially learning from the lessons of previous storms. One of the things we also wanted to highlight also as we're taking a look at this storm is we can take a look at the structure at this particular time. We can see it actually moving across the Isla de la Juventud, just to the west of Cuba. And as we see this system, we can actually see that it's a significant amount of in this last day or so, last few hours, significant formation, tightening of the structure. The pressure right now is 996 millibars, so that is quite a bit down from when it was at 1,006 millibars in our very previous forecast. So this system is actually strengthening as it makes its way towards the Gulf of Mexico. So it's definitely not going to be a hurricane that you want to take lightly as you make your preparations. Anyone in the path of this hurricane, especially residents of Western Cuba, are going to be are feeling the effects of hurricane force winds and strong tropical force winds, and at this particular time, as you can see, the extent of the outer bands extend all the way down into the central Caribbean Sea and are still impacting the island of Jamaica and Cayman Islands. So it's anticipated that they're actually continuing to have rain. Here we are in the midday of Friday, as this system makes its way towards Louisiana. So this system is right now showing quite a bit of development as far as tightening of its structure. You can actually clearly see it there as it moves towards Pinar del Rio in western Cuba, and as it moves across, we're going to take a look at its structure as it exits Cuba from our Key West Doppler radar station, and we're going to continue to monitor exactly what's happening there. Keep in mind, these are some of the rainfall totals that we're seeing coming in as advisement from the National Hurricane Center, NOAA. We see sections there from Lake Charles all the way over to New Orleans, and ladies and gentlemen, you can see projections for 10 to 15 inches of potential rainfall as this system moves in, and even in the sections of 4 to 6 inches of rain extend all the way out to the border of Louisiana and Texas, to the the border of Florida and Alabama. So this is a very wide extent storm, and even as it brings all of this rainfall in, areas that are prone to be flooding, flood advisories and flood risk should take heed of this particular time well ahead of the storm, so that you can actually prepare in advance for what's coming, because we anticipate that this will be a Category 3 hurricane, packing winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. Let's just take a quick look at the track here and see what kind of timeline we're dealing with here. So here we are at midday, and it's impacting, most likely we see hurricane watch and hurricane warnings for the western section of Cuba. As it emerges into the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to be feeding on those very, very warm waters, and it's going to be speeding as a hurricane most likely through the night on Saturday, in through the day on Sunday, and then with landfall anticipated in the late evening on Sunday. So we need to take advantage of the next 48 hours, make our preparations ahead of time. If you are going to evacuate, make your plans now, before the big rush on the highways to try and get out of harm's way with this system. Just take a look at the cone of interest, and you can see that it extends all the way to the border of Louisiana and Texas, to possibly the border of Alabama and Mississippi, and that is a significant cone as far as heavy, strong hurricane winds. Keep in mind that rainfall and tropical force winds, will extend most likely well beyond the border of Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana and Texas. So as far as relocating and getting out of the way of this system, now if we at this particular time are projecting that it will be a Category 3 hurricane, keep in mind that if worst case scenario is it could strengthen to a Category 4 hurricane prior to impact, which would mean a significant amount of damage and destruction as it moves on shore. So please take in mind that even though we are looking at a projected Category 3, which is a very, very destructive storm, it could actually get worse as through into the weekend as we monitor the storm. So just take advantage of this time at this juncture to make the best plans you need as far as getting out of harm's way, possibly heading west towards central Texas, Abilene or Lubbock, just to get out of the way until the storm passes, so that at least you can be assured of safety of yourself and your family, and then also making all the preparations. But this is the best time to do it before there's a big rush on the highway and everything comes to a standstill, which we've seen many times before with gridlock traffic, and once a storm is coming in on shore, in whether it be Florida, or we've seen it happen in Texas or Alabama. So we just want to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. Take advantage of this time to make the best decisions that you can. So we've been going to continue to track the storm as it makes its way into the continental United States. Of course, the next stop is going to be the western section of Cuba, and we can see on this infrared satellite imagery that this system is very, very much organized. It's very, very tightly structured. The outer bands extend pretty far and wide. You can actually see some of those outer bands actually interacting with the region of Key West and Key Largo, Isla Morado at this particular time. So please make sure that you smash the like button if this information has served you well, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're going to be tracking the storm all the way to Louisiana, so we'll give you the latest updates as we get more information for this system. Thank you for watching Bow News Network, and we'll have a great day. Thank you.
This is Bow TV.